boy here. Um, let's actually here. Let's start fresh if I can. Yeah. What do you? No. Just keep going here. All right. Let me see. So we're gonna get the model here. I know, probably already done all this stuff, but let's make sure. One am I not working on? That doesn't matter. Okay, that one's the one that I'm not working on. All right. Let me close my door for a second. All right, so you've loaded up the thing, and you're all confused. Like, what is happening? How? Like, what did they say? What? Oh man, I wish I just had some kind of way to get it. So, all right, what I just did. Select your model, and then you modifier list unwrap UVW. So you type it in and it'll show up. And now you've got this huge mess. So what Sasha did was he had the materials set so that he could render the base image out that he had originally, but forgot to switch it back. So we're just gonna apply a standard texture so that we know what we're doing. I'm making sure I'm actually recording because that usually happens. Okay. Anyways, so you're gonna open your UV editor and you're gonna be like, "What is this mess? Like, how did this? I don't want this. This is a huge mess." So what you do is you're gonna take each piece by piece. You're gonna select by element. You're gonna turn off ignore back facing because that'll mess you up in the future. So you're gonna select the element, and that's just a huge mess there. So, basically, I don't know what happened, but there's a lot of seams here already. All right. So what you're gonna do is go to edge selection, turn this off. Select that line, and you're going to go loop X and Y edges. So now it's going to loop its way all the way around, right? So see these green edges here? They're like pre-cut seams. They're the edges of the overall shape, like of the overall geometry that connects itself. So like this is all cut. These are not cut, even though like it's just kind of demonstrated. Okay. But these, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create our own seams. And okay, so how I got this window like this, you just kind of scroll down. But if you use your panel, drag it out like that, then you're gonna see that guy. But like if you just like the list like this, you can scroll down in this, like scroll down in this thing. So with that, you're going to select convert edge selection to seams. And that'll turn those lines into blue lines. And so these are the seams you're creating. Right? Okay, so it's selected all the way around the model except for the back here, I'm pretty sure. Although it might be a separate piece. Alright, so we're going to go back to select element. Base selection, the polygon, and if your selection's not showing up here, probably because of some bullshit, just press F2. F3 and F4 are the things that change all of your views. So, right. So you're gonna go to your projection mapping here. So what this does is it makes a map based on where it's viewing. So if you select that and align to X, it'll align to the X-axis. Okay? Same with if you do this, it'll align to the Y-axis, and then Z, it'll align to the Z-axis. Or like the Y, X, and Z, I think. we'll figure it out. Like, I'll show you. So these all have specific methods, right? So you've got a cylinder, spherical, and a box. So if you wanted to unwrap a sphere, you'd make a spherical map. Or if you wanted to unwrap a sphere-like object, you would select that button, all right? If you wanted to unwrap square, you know, etc., etc. So it's all about going in and making the proper seams and inspecting the object or creating the object in a way that, like, you would understand where those seams would be, right? I know this is very confusing. Don't pay attention to this. This is meant to confuse you. It's complete bullshit, all right? Bullshit. Like, this is supposed, see? Bullshit. What is that? Right? Don't, yeah, you get it. All right, so we're gonna select that. Go to planar map. Now it's on the z-axis there. So now it's gonna select both of them. So the bottom and the top, right? Then you're gonna do quick peel. Now it's gonna detach at those seams that you created, right? So these are the seams. Now created your own way of texturing, basically. So in here, right, if you find that you're not able to select anything in here, like move or select, it's because you're still in the projection mode. So turn off projection mode. Now you've got that. Now you can select by element in here by selecting this bad boy right there, and you select the piece, right? So now what it did was it unwrapped in such a way that you can paint on it. So like this angle has been flattened, so it'll be flat against, you know, this part here. It'll be flat again, like just it's all flat. So you notice this centerpiece. Here, let me grab this guy. This centerpiece actually has, if you look at the geometry, see how you've got that, how it's a square. Technically, it is a square, but we're just going to worry about the shape of it, I guess. You're going to paint on top of this, right? So this is your cockpit. This goes back. You know, you paint over whatever. And you're going to do this process with everything. And like if you copy anything, like within Photoshop, hang on, I got to turn on Snap. If you copy anything within Photoshop, you want to make sure that they're both relatively the same size. And this is the problem with some of this. If you wanted to keep the same size things, sometimes it doesn't work out, but relatively, you know, like play around with the base color and you'll have your map. So all right, these guys, these are actually very simple to do. You're going to do the same thing, use the planar map, and instead of Z, we're going to go Y. No, we're going to go X, right? Okay, so now it's looking at it. Think of it as a projector, you know, and if you've heard of this thing called like keystone, what that does is it changes the angle of the projector. So that way it flattens itself up against the surface. I mean, if the projector is on an angle. If not, yeah, you just rotate the thing, and as you can see, it goes thinner. It's projecting what the texture is, or what the geometry is on the texture, right? So you've done that. Now, if you want to separate this, like if you want to have two separate details, like a decal here and a decal there, because this is just projecting both sides of the geometry. So to do that, You're going to get out of projection mode. You're going to cancel that. You're going to go in and do the edge seams again. Turn off element selection. So you select one edge, loop it. It's going to loop it all the way around the thing. So this is like cutting it in half, right? You go back, select your edge selection to seams, and you're going to do the same for this guy too. You go loop it, edge selection to seams, right? It is kind of that simple if your model is broken down like this. So when I get to the cylinders, I've got like a pretty good idea of like what I want to explain. So, all right. So you go projection mode. You got to be in polygon thing. Go to projection. Go back to your. Oh, it's already done. So this is when you go to quick peel. It's like peeling an orange. And like, have you ever tried to peel one thing? Just try to have the biggest peel, and you peel it all the way around. You know how annoying, like how hard that is. You gotta like put your fingers in there, and you gotta like actually. Sometimes you'll use a knife to cut the orange, like just to cut the outside of the skin. It's basically what we're doing. You know, like you're peeling an orange, and you just gotta. This is where you're prying it open, like all your fingers and all that stuff. I don't know how many people do that. I do that all the time when I'm fidgeting, but yeah. So there, you've unwrapped two parts, and like I said, to select it, you got to be out of projection mode. So let's see what this. Oh, these bad boys. I don't know what they are, so I'm gonna move them. Those guys, move them. Sometimes you probably won't even have this, but just worry about selecting the object, and yeah. So those guys are fully wrapped. They're all done. You could paint over them. These guys, like, they're the same object. They're the exact same, but if you wanted to just have your logo on one side here, it's probably the best way to do it. But like I said, you can skip the actual peeling part and it'll still be fine. But you're gonna do the same for that, but gonna skip that, move on to the more complicated thing. So